Welcome to the next episode of Coffee with the County. Today I am sitting with Staci Powers, our License Center Supervisor. Good afternoon, Staci. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Great to have you in here, and I know that you're responsible for a huge department in our county. A lot of visitors come through and a lot of things that we could talk about on the License Center itself, but I'd love to start with you, Staci. How long have you been with the county?
Altogether, working for the Sheriff's Office and for the License Center, it's been a little over 20 years total.
Wow, nice. You're a 20-pluser at
Yes.
the county. Yeah, that's awesome to have long-term people like that. And you started over in the Sheriff's Office?
Yeah, back in 2003 for the jail.
And then you got granted the gift of the License Center.
Yes,
That's perfect. Have you been an Aiken County resident all your life?
I have.
Well, that's cool to have that as well. Tell me a little bit about the License Center. I'm not supposed to use words like nobody wants to go to the DMV and all that stuff, or tell me about your experience with the License Center.
There's a lot of things that happen in there, like title transfers for vehicles, ATV transactions, driver's license, wide variety of things. A lot of times customers don't have all the information when they come in, so they're unprepared, so we kind of get that DMV reputation, but...
Yeah, well, I will tell you, for those of you that are listening out there, bring the right information with you when you need to come in. And I will tell you also, we just recently, and I think it was about 6 months ago, conducted a survey that you were part of. The residents that came in would come in with an uncomfortable feeling about what they wanted to get done. Right. And when they left, the survey indicated how they felt when they left, which was overwhelmingly positive response. So it's a compliment to you and your staff for being able to take them, and just normal people. I'm always unprepared when I go in there too. You always have to remember to bring your insurance, and you have to remember to do all those different things. But just to take that and have somebody walk out with what they intended to come in for is really, it's not easy to do, and you guys are complimented on that. And I know right now you have a fairly new staff.
We do. We have 3 new staff members, 2 part-time and 1 full-time that are new. Yeah.
So your other, I won't call them old staff members, I'll get in trouble for that, but your other staff members that were there have moved on into other departments in the county too, is that right?
Yep, that's right. Yep.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, always looking to move around or move up or that type of thing in the county too. But Staci's always there to take care of things with our public and how that works. So let's get into some specific, I want to know, I have a question as Real ID. What is Real ID and what does that mean?
After May of 2025 this year, Homeland Security requires certain travel compliant documents to fly domestically. So the Real ID is what will allow you to fly domestically and get into federal buildings after that date has passed.
So if you don't have a passport, your regular driver's license isn't going to get you on an airplane, is
it?
It
will not after that May 7th of this year.
That's coming up quickly.
Yes.
So if you're listening and plan on flying and don't have a passport and have a regular driver's license, now would be the time to come visit Staci and all of her staff members to see if we can't help you out with that.
Yep, and one good thing to know is they're 6 to 8 weeks out, so if they're planning on flying coming up, they need to get in as soon as possible because it takes 4 to 6 weeks to get that license.
Everything goes to this magic spot in federal or state or wherever it goes and has to come back. So, yeah, get your planning out there. Make sure that you're doing your proper planning and get that information out. And will the Real ID be the ID after May? Like when you go in and have your license renewed when time comes, will that be automatic?
No, so it's just for people that need to travel.
Okay.
You can stay with a standard if you never fly. You don't need it unless you have flight plans, and then you would be required to have one of those documents to fly.
Yeah, so if you're sticking around Aiken County, you don't need to worry about it too much.
Don't need it then.
So some of the other things that the License Center does, you can imagine License Center, that means that you're licensing different things. And you mentioned ATVs and boats and things like that have to have annual licenses.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about how that process works.
So normally we have a lot of customers, you come in with their renewal notices that they get in the mail from the DNR, bring those in, and then we can renew their ATVs, which when they renew them, they're good for 3 years at a time. And those are boats, jet skis, ATVs, snowmobiles. And they can also do like transfers, if they bought a used one or a new one. We do those as well.
So title transfers, that can get complicated, right?
Right.
Especially if you don't have all of the documentation with you when it's needed. What type of things are you guys using down there to help the people that are coming in? Are there certain places they can go to get the information first? Are they pre-filling out their driver's license form?
Yeah, so like with title transfers, like basic Minnesota ones, we do have some tidbit information on the Aiken County License Center webpage that kind of gives them a few guidelines. Otherwise, they can call and get information if they don't know how to fill it out. Or a lot of times we just tell them to make sure seller signed off and then bring it in blank, and then we'll walk through it with them so that there's no errors made or what
Because
have
once you fill that out, it's filled out, right?
Then it becomes a longer process if they did it incorrectly. So it's just best if they either call us ahead of time and we can guide them through on the phone so that they know what they're looking at and where to fill out, or just wait until they get in front of us so that it doesn't cause any hiccups.
So what's the number that folks can reach you at?
It's 218-927-7057.
7057, and that's the license center. That goes right directly to the experts that know how to fill that information out. I have to ask you, what is usually the most complicated item when people are coming in? What's the hardest one and takes the most time to get done?
I would say enhanced driver's license for ladies, because the requirements list that's provided by the state and Homeland Security is, I would say, somewhat vague, and us ladies have to provide name change documents. So anytime their name is changed since birth, we have to have like marriage licenses, divorce decrees, court orders, whatever changed their name since birth, each time if it's more than one. Wow. So that's usually where the hiccup is for us ladies. The guys don't have to worry about it normally. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes their address documents, some people tend to bring in kind of like junk mail, and the Homeland Security requires like specific utility bills or bank statements or so forth. So I'd say that's one of the biggest problem areas for people, is it's just kind of complex, and if they don't read specifics on that requirements list, they're making 1 or 2 or 3 trips in before they get it done.
Yep. And to cut down on that timing, I know that you guys have all of the information. Is that on our website, on our county website under the License Center? It
is. Yep. They can click right on either the enhanced requirements list. It's highlighted under the driver's license section, or the real ID is there too. And they can just click on that requirements link and it will tell them the specifics.
Yeah. So do your homework before you come in, and it'll make a much smoother experience for everyone if you have that documentation with you. But, I know that we do have a more elderly population, too, that may not use the internet as much. Your best bet, just come on in, and we'll spend the time, and Staci and her team will spend the time to make sure that you've got what you need when you leave, right?
Yeah, they can either call ahead of time, or they can stop in and just grab the list prior to coming in so that they can bring it home with them and then gather the right information. Either way. Any
new legislation or new things coming up that comes to mind? I put you on the spot with that, but anything that you've seen?
Nothing other than those real or enhanced. There's nothing new that I'm aware of yet. That's coming about.
Any new license plates, like the blackout license plate that we got?
Yeah, we have that blackout one, and then we have what they call the 100 Club plate. Those are the 2 newest ones. The 100 Club plate, the contribution fee is $40, and then that goes to like first responder, firefighter, families, and so forth that were injured on the job. So it goes to that contribution spot. The blackout plate, the other one, is $30 every year, and that goes back to the state to benefit opening more exam stations within Minnesota and a few other things for the state.
Yeah, awesome. So all good causes that
Right.
that you can do if you want to spend a little bit extra to get a personalized plate or a blackout plate or whatever that might be. Are there a lot of people that do personalized plates?
There is actually personalized some of those critical habitat ones too, but otherwise a lot of people just do those standard personalized.
Do you have Staci 1 on your car?
I don't.
Well, Staci, I thank you for coming in. Thanks for letting us know what goes on a little bit in the License Center, and most importantly that you guys are all there to help out when a person needs it. For the listeners, do your homework a bit before you come in, and it'll make a much easier experience for both sides if you have all the information. The last thing Staci and her team want to do is send you off without what you came in for because you don't have the documentation that you need. So take that extra time and just go through that. And again, my compliments, our compliments as a county to the hard work that you guys do. You spend a lot of time with a lot of people. And it's always busy on Fridays. I noticed it's always busy on Friday.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Well, I would love for you to come back anytime if there's something that pops up in the License Center that you want people to know about. Be great to have you come back in April sometime just to remind everybody about the
Sure.
Real ID thing coming and making sure that everybody's aware of that. Thank you for coming in today.
No problem.
And we'll see you soon. You're listening to Coffee with the County.